Hey everyone, welcome back to Premier Study Investing. Very happy to have you. I saw this article. I wasn't even planning on doing a video today, but it's just so visual. It's so much easier than some of the reading that we've had to do. It's basically looking at how much money is there in the world, and it breaks it down for us. So each one of these black dots is equal to $100 billion, which is a tough number to grasp, but this will kind of help us. So if we're talking about silver, there's only $17 billion of silver. If there's a $17 stock price, maybe now we're at like $25 stock price announced. But so like a light gray, not even 100 million. Crypto is going to be a little bit like bigger. So this says like 100 billion in Bitcoin. All cryptos is like 45 billion. Yeah, so 45 billion, and then Ethereum is like 288. Oh, sorry, 28 billion. Anyway, the biggest company, so Apple would be like, what is this, 8? You can kind of get the sense. Facebook, Amazon, these are really the biggest companies in the world. Remember, each block is worth $100 billion. So they say by market cap. So 807 by some of the biggest. Anyway, the world's richest people, Gates would have 89 billion, Bezos 84, Buffett 81, Zuckerberg 73, Jack Ma 39, Elon 21. Although I think Elon has jumped up considerably. Isn't he over $100 billion now? Anyway. California's GDP, you can see that the Fed's balance sheet, and this is old as well. So, but between 2008 and 2014, the Fed's balance sheet jumped to 4.5 trillion from 1 trillion due to controversial quantitative easing programs. So they added this black section here. This is what they had before, and so now we're at 7, I believe. So it's just really skyrocketing. Anyway, this is the one that I went hunting for in the currencies. So Japan has what 9 blocks, so 900 billion. U.S., Eurozone, China, and then the rest of the world. So I thought that was really interesting. This is particularly interesting to me. We're going to see some of the debt in China. It's going to blow your socks off. Anyway, world's gold, so about 7.7 trillion. So private investment, jewelry, central banks, International Monetary Fund. Anyway, then the stock market, so the FTSE, S&P 500 maybe, Japan or Russell 1000 or whatever, Russell 3000, Japan, China, Euro area, and then the rest of the world. So you can see this is nice, 38%, 5% in, say, like on the FTSE, 11% Euro area. So maybe this is the DAX and all those others, and then 10 and 7. So since the total value of the world's easily accessible money is about 37 trillion, includes like coins, banknotes, checking deposits, so narrow money. Then if you want to go to the broad money, it starts here and it'll go down, and they say that's about 90 trillion. So about 8% is physical and 92 is non-physical. Okay. So about $90 trillion broad money. In case you hear these terms, people throw them around. Now, global debt, this is the total amount of debt, including that accumulated by governments, corporations, and households together adds up to 215 trillion, which is about 325% of global GDP. So sometimes I throw this out that global GDP is somewhere between 80 and 100 trillion. This would actually only put it at about $66 trillion a year, global GDP. Okay, so I got a little distracted. I had to go find out what was the amount of debt held compared to GDP in the United States. This is from Peter G. Peterson Foundation, and I just, I don't like looking up stats. I don't understand what they mean. So debt held by the public is defined as debt held by the public is the amount that the U.S. Treasury has borrowed from outside lenders via financial markets to support government activities. And they're going to give us here debt held by the public percent of GDP, 108% in 2021, which is even probably as high, almost as high as it's been since 1945 at the end of the war. So that'll give us, so 108 is where the United States is. Let's say China is at, was it 300%? This is in 2017. So I don't know where they are now. This is obviously a little bit old article, but if you're thinking about investing in, Chinese stocks, or if this is a concern for you as someone investing in American stocks or American firms, getting a better picture of this number might be even more important to you. Anyway, so this is debt. We're clearing off the debt. Global real estate. So this is commercial real estate. Green is agriculture, and the black is the rest. So here, about 13%, about 12% of the market, and total is about 17 trillion wrapped up in real estate. So if this is commercial, then that'd be everything else would be in residential, right? Europe contains 24% of residential assets by value, but only houses 11% of the population. Similarly, America, or let's see, 21% of the world's total residential assets are in North America, despite the fact that only 5% of the population lives there. So you can just start to see all these blocks. Remember when we came from the beginning with silver or gold or whatever. Now, what is this derivatives market? And this is crazy. So they say the low end estimate, they're not even sure, is 544 trillion. And then it could be more, but these are stock options. They tell us like futures, derivatives, swaps. Since banks typically use high amounts of leverage to attain these positions, some derivatives such as commodity futures are traded on regulated exchanges such as the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. However, the majority of derivatives are traded outside of exchanges between private parties and are called over-the-counter trades. And look at how many blocks there are. Just pausing. Collateralized debt obligation and credit default swaps are two derivative types that are now infamous for their roles in the 2008 financial crisis, so GFC. So this is the black, and the black is the conservative. Again, this is real estate. This is derivatives markets. Yeah, so this is the derivatives markets. And then here's where they reach the low end estimate. But if they keep going in the gray with other like more moderate estimates, you're going to add all of these, which is insane. It just shows you how big the derivatives market is. And they remind us this is Bitcoin. Now, this is an older article, so I'm sure Bitcoin has definitely grown. And then you have different people weighing in views on derivatives. This gentleman is positive on it. He thinks it's like essentially it works if you have an efficient market. Buffett says, no, everyone, he's kind of famous in saying that these are like financial weapons of mass destruction here. And then you have Jeff Green. I don't know, Jeff Green, if there were not derivatives, there would be no bank loans at all today because people want to get fixed rate 30-year loans, but banks don't want to keep 30-year loans on their books. And that's true. But I just thought it was a really interesting article just to see how big perhaps the derivatives market really is. And you can see this is coming from Market Watch. The gray and the black here together would be combined for a moderate estimate of derivatives compared to, this is residential real estate in black, agricultural real estate, commercial real estate in blue, emerging markets, this is what, debt, global debt. This is the money supply, broad money, narrow money. Again, the size of the stock markets, size of gold, currency that's circulating. So the green is like the currency that is circulating. So I have to keep like scrolling around so much. So the green is the coins and banknotes. So this is like physical currency floating around. Anyways, I thought it was pretty interesting. Hope you all are well. Have a nice weekend.